Hey, this is Pendream TV. Press on the red button to subscribe, hit on the bell icon to get notifications, like, comment, and share this video. Thank you.
I believe we can come back to the studio. At least you have an idea what TPP is about and what he intends to do. Can he achieve it? Or you think it will be very, very difficult? Before we left to London on Thursday, he met celebrities in Ghana. He spoke, he introduced TPP to them. And I believe most of them also accepted the ideologies of TPP. Therefore, you can also be part of it. It is not a political party. It is only a movement. To make sure that there is good governance in Ghana, there is development, and there is growth in Ghana. But of course, I'll start this with you. What he wants to achieve, as in Kwame A+, can he achieve it with the People's Project, the TPP?
Yes, I mean.
Yes, sir.
Good morning once again.
Good morning, boss.
Yes, I think anything that any human being, anybody sets its mind on, is achievable. Depends on how you go about it. I think when he started, it was an idea that he had it alone, like he said. And if he's been able to have 534 branches worldwide, it means that he's making progress. It means that people are buying into the idea. Now, first of all, he's made it clear that it is not a political party, which makes him very, very, in the middle.
But do you see developing into a political party in the few years or months ahead of us?
Well, only God can tell. Only God can tell. At this point, we can't play God. So, we'll have to leave it. But for now, we have to focus on the pressure group that it
Let's
is.
focus
on the pressure group that it is. And for me, I feel if anybody wants the better for this country, if anybody is going to use any method that is not illegal, any method that is legal to seek the best for this country, I think it's a good movement.
Okay.
We have had the AFAG, we have had different pressure groups who came with different ideologies. For me, I feel they have the support of the people, because under any government, there's a section of people who are going to suffer. There's a section of people who are major, not going to benefit in a major way. And those are the people who joins movements to make sure that things get better. So obviously under this government, certain things may not be going well with certain people. Other people may be having views that, there's corruption here and there and all of that. So when somebody comes up with things like this, mostly it is people who may not be benefiting who would obviously go and join.
Okay.
But for him to have said that there's a movement to champion the better of the nation, whoever comes to power, they don't mind. All they care for is that we need to have an agreement that we have the votes there. We have stored 1 million and over votes. And in Ghana, no political party can win an election below 50 plus 1 vote.
Exactly.
And if you look at the last election, I think Nanado won with about over 1 million votes or so.
Okay.
So if somebody takes 1 million votes from the population, it means that nobody is going to win. It means that it's going to go to a second round. And so whoever leads in the second round, or whoever, if the distance becomes that close, whoever is able to buy into the ideas of the TPP, if indeed they actually get the votes, that person will become the president. And so for what he is saying is that if we have the votes, if you want to win, come and we'll tell you what we want. Maybe we want you to fix the motorway, the electricity on the motorway. We want you to fix Kolebu.
So those are the terms and conditions.
Like my understanding from his speech.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So if this is what it's about, then I will say that it's good for the country. It's good for Ghana. You understand? Maybe it is not everybody who will support, but I am seeing it this way. I'm seeing that somebody could be MPP and be there.
Of course.
Somebody could be NDC and be
No,
there.
that is what he said.
Yes.
That you don't need to ignore your party that you support to be part of TPP.
Exactly.
Even if you are an NPP person and you think, oh, there should be checks on NPP to make sure the country develops, you can also be part of TPP so that you guys will be imposing these checks on them.
Exactly. And the world over have had people like this, the Marcus Garveys, the Winston Churchill, the people who made changes in the world. There's a statement that Tupac made. He said, I may not be the one to change the world, but I may cause the spark that will lead the revolution to change the world. So most often God brings people like this onto the earth to come and spark, generate that spark that goes a long way to change the world. So for me, I think it's a good movement if all the things that have been said would go accordingly. I remember the last time Charlie Kwame said, if everything that has been said goes accordingly.
On the day he makes the celebration.
Yes. Okay. If all goes accordingly, then it means that, you know, with time, we may have a certain level of bringing politicians to actually do what we need as a people. The last time we're saying that, you know, certain government comes, we change SS from 3 to 4, we change it back. It depends on who comes. We name where the seat of government, Flagstaff House. Somebody comes, he names it Jubilee House.
Yeah.
Yes. So if we would have to get things moving properly for it not to be partisan, we will need things like this.
Okay.
You know, when you go to America, the Air Force One, whoever piloted Obama, when Obama leaves power, whoever piloted Obama leaves with Obama.
I see.
Then the co-pilot comes in takes over
for
Trump.
President. Okay.
When Trump leaves, he goes with Trump. Then the co-pilot takes over with the person that comes. But in Ghana, this will be impossible. If Mahama goes with the one who piloted, the co-pilot may not be trusted because they will say you go and kill Nanado, so we'll sack him and bring our own person. You know, a country must be able to go by this. When we have all these things, we will succeed as a people. That is the reason why the West succeed, because the partisan thing is not really on a high like it is here. So for me, I think we need movements like this. And indeed, if everything that has been said goes the way it's supposed to go, then I see it succeeding. I feel that, you know, for me, looking at social media and looking at how people have been supporting and people have been buying into the idea, looking at comments that come from people, I think that people have always had this mindset that Ghana needs a third force, maybe somewhere, because from 92, ever since our democracy came into existence, there has always been two parties, either NDC or MPP. So there has never been an option. If you are somebody who does not like MPP and does not like NDC, your only option is that I feel amen twaba. You know, you're gonna say, I'm not voting because everybody has disappointed me. So if there comes a third force, people may be forced to go and try and see if this thing is going to work. And if that is not a political party and is going to actually group vote for people's needs to be met, then I think, you know, it's a thing in the right course.
Thank you so much. His name is Dada Halfco, and you can also share your views on what Kwame A+ said. He is the leader of the People's Project, aka TPP, and the voice we gave to you was from London last Saturday in Croydon. Now let me move on to Kobiche, but then you can also join us in this discussion on Twitter at Xylophone FM, at Xylophone 1021 FM, and again remember to add the hashtag that is Showbiz Agenda, so we can do this together. Mr. Che, let me listen to you. Before you even say what you want to say, some people think, okay, we like TPP, but we don't like A+ and his modus operandi. Yes, I have seen so many of that. I remember when Kofi TV was even doing live, someone said, it is our wish that you, Sammy Flex, and Kofi TV will be leading TPP. A+ there, we don't like his stuff. He's rough.
He's what?
He's rough, like he's raw. That is what they think.
Oh, raw then.
Oh no, say A+ no, yes, for no, you're bonia. Oh, man, oh, Charlie. No. No. And some people don't like that stuff. So they think, okay, the personality leading the project to us is questionable. Do you side with them?
No. We are in a country where sometimes we need the raw people, like the judges, who come straight at you. So with your question, I think that for me, I like the character, I like the figure A+. And over the years, I've monitored him, every day with his comments on social media, and I think that he's very influential when it comes to these areas. And one of the beautiful things I like about him is the fact that when it's about NDC, if they are messing up, it comes hard at them. If it's MPP, it comes hard at them. So it makes him stand neutral to say, okay, we a year rougher, mefayano, we see a rougher, mefayano. Now, over the years, politicians, I mean, have taken us for granted. Health sector, there are a lot of things, chronic things happening that they need to pay attention, but they are not paying attention. Spending money on unnecessary things, education, and of course they're saying in the government we about 3 years, government we about 4 years, and Kwanano 6 months. Now we are Are we not trying to hurt ourselves? It is not helping the nation. It is not helping future leaders. It is about time, and I think that the generation of our time, we are seeing a bigger picture. And sorry to say this, illiteracy rate in Africa is high. So going over the days, politicians can just come and stand in front of you and say, okay, GMO we not talk about me. Without not thinking about the bigger picture. In the next 5 years, am I going to have a better education, good health? Even back into the policies that they are saying, whether it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. But these days, who say Ghana for saying almost the
say what they more call now one fan call right time boy the be money atata
and it tells you that we are changing gradually. We are changing gradually. So when I heard about this TPP, I was actually following you when you went there, and there's one thing that he said, and I'm going to read it.
Okay.
Demand accountability, transparency, and responsibility from government and government officials. These are key things that we need to ask from the government. Now, government, so no buy and I say MPP for Banaka, so you discover you say. You discover you say, you're the Cobrazo, you the work will say, I don't have a day, they will come and tell us, okay, we spend this and this and this, we are going to create a committee. I don't have a day, we don't hear it.
No more so committee.
So we need people, we need movement like this to check on them. And I will urge everyone to come on board. April is not my friend. But I will urge every Ghanaian, whether you're MPP or NDC, come on board, let's fight this. Because we are sick and tired in this country. Now, another point is that promote the development and implementation of inclusive and sustainable policies and programs. Now I'm reading this. Facilitate the implementation of pro-poor projects and initiatives for very low-income communities in the country. A lot of projects. Yeah, even contractors and so on.
I won't be you, but any 3 days is so motorway,
they be a motorway, come motorway, renovation, they be a means in Yedo.
A quiet renovation, as I see, said they be a fort, but Bantini, a Busune, fixes but our parties almost finding my papa.
Oh, yeah, yes, if it must be done, it must be done well. So I will urge everyone once again to come on board to support this movement because we need to check on the government. Now, time NDC buy and you see, ex-president Mahama or your youth. So everybody we came rallying behind him. And then, even had young guys on board, but still, when you could go and could discuss it.
And we are friendly nyafu.
John Webb started politics, boom and check. When you're flat, Trasako. Oko China MP40 bicycles or Parliament. But yeah, so it means that the fact is that politician you'll be rich. What is the meaning of a leader? You are going to serve. But in Africa or in Ghana, if you are born leader, and I say if you have the mantle of being a politician, they are not going to serve. Yes. They must serve us. Almost all to be serving. I say MPP. Sabi grown up people, mature people, but almost so quiet. I'm so for sa. Sorry, I don't know.
Or say Sabi then.
So many.
Yes, I have Sabi or my general, and blue hand in name on Kakan the back room. And Rassami. What shall I be to say? It's not funny.
Penny for a cheap, you almost got it, penny tutu. Okay, I get you.
So, all said and done, if we are coming together to have a movement to push this agenda, put them on tax. Idea muye. Look at the way we came together to fight for this drop the chamber.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And this
works.
must it works. This must continue. I love the fact that entertainers, everybody came on board. And this is the time we must also come on board to also talk, speak our mind. To conclude, A plus, wherever you are, if you are listening to me, don't bring us these objectives, these missions, these branches of people, and fail us. What's wrong with Foko UK?
It shouldn't also be another talk shop for him.
Exactly. More Fabras, I mean, I go fit in UK, and for years, you man cobre, and Transakuna, still starting zero. If they've started the energy, the same energy must continue to land. We must see results.
Amen.
That's all I have for A plus.
Wow, fantastic speech there from Kobiche. And you can also speak with the same power. You can also write with the same thing on Twitter at Xylophone1021. Remember the hashtag Showbiz Agenda. Remember once again that TPP is never a political party. You can be part of it. I am part of it. And everyone else can also be part of it. Arnold, wrap up for me, bro. Do you think it is achievable? TPP. Or say young politicians then, bruh. Mom got TPP for more 1 million votes. We like the 1 million votes. And Kwame A Plus will take them to the Independence Square. And we invite media people. NPP or NDC says they want our 1 million votes. But it comes with terms and conditions. When you come, we want you to change this X constitution. Because to us, we think, no, it doesn't help. When you come, we want you to cancel X gratia. Because why should we all struggle and you alone, you struggle for 4 years and still you take a chunk of money. Let's cancel this. If you agree, then they give you the power. Is it achievable?
First of all, let me congratulate Kobiche and his eggs. They are ostrich eggs.
Fiona Cost.
He's actually egged me on. I'll fry it.
Money laughing.
Is it achievable?
Yes.
In our country, there's a lot of, we lack positive continuity. The only thing that has continuity in this political dispensation is ex gratia, distribution of contracts, distribution of V8s. These are the things that have continuity in our system politics. Apart from these things, the core reasons for which they were placed there, we do not have continuity for them. So one starts a project, the other cancels it. The other one starts a project, he creates it, the other person comes back and then cancels it. So we do not have continuation for anything we do.
Like the Air Force example that I have quoted.
Like the Air Force example that I have quoted.
In the USA.
So it makes development one step forward, two steps back. One step forward, two steps back. We've been marking time for God knows how long. We've marked time with new shoes until those shoes became bad. We changed the shoes, stand at the same place, mark time to Aseni Nari, Yasasano. Now, moving on to your question, say, is it achievable? Yes, it is achievable. Only if any of these political parties, be it the NDC or NPP, agree to sign such a document. That's when you can organize the people and take them to the Independence Square. Organizing the people and taking them there is no big deal, it's no problem. You wouldn't have to bust them, they will come. But until the two political parties, one of them decide that, okay, I think what you guys have is worth looking at and we would want to work with it, so let's go and sign. You can't go and gather them. So it's achievable, but its achievability is tied to any of these political parties saying, yes, we want to work with you guys. That is one. Now, two, you keep saying that TPP is not a political party. That is true. But TPP is a political party in the making. Eventually, TPP will become a political party after some years. Now, why do I think so, or why do I say so? If you are able to have 1 million people
that you are assured of. That's an election deciding number. That's one. Or election winning number. That aside. Now, if you are able to put together these steps that you would want other political parties to undertake to make Ghana a better place, if you have the men, the brains, and the wherewithal to put those documents together, then it means you can best implement it than the political parties you would love to sublet them to, given the chance. 3, TPP might not be a political party now because they do not have the political heads. They probably have winning heads and not heads that can carry out projects. It's a young movement. I don't know how many well-experienced politicians are in the TPP. So, for instance, you can't have a TPP member now vying for presidency. Even if the person wins, the person will be zero when it comes to implementing government policies and projects. Because even A plus himself, if it comes to being a leader as a president, he might not have the technical know-how to implement most of the things he will say. So, for now, TPP will go through the teething stage, the growing process, the learning process. So they will start probably feeling the basic roles in society, like assemblymen, MPs. Then they learn through that. Now, if eventually TPP has a fair and enough representation in Parliament and have gone through the ranks enough and have gathered enough experience, then they'll put the 3 things I've put together and become a political party. 1, they would have experienced politicians within them who can take up better and bigger political positions, like MPs, like ministers, like blah blah blah, like blah blah blah, because they would have gone through training. 2, they would be in a position to actually implement the documents they have. They wouldn't have to give it to a certain political party that can fail. In the end of the day, signing the document is not the end of it.
Let me supply this on this note that should they give the 100% powers to a political party to implement them, they are still going to fail. So A plus suggested this. If you come to work with TPP, then they will tell you, oh, we know an old man who we think can handle a ministry like Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. Put him there. We think he is qualified. He has the expertise to rule that ministry, because we also want development to be facilitated. So then they can also suggest another person, this and that and that and that. So more or less, it is going to be shared governance or shared power.
Bravo. So you see, you've come back to my statement that TPP is on its way to become a political party. In fact, it's on its way to become a third force with an already prepared fan base or electorate base. Because if they give you the documents and they say, well, before you sign, you need to agree that the Minister of Agriculture will come from a TPP member that we have proposed. Minister for
not necessarily a TPP member, someone who has the expertise or the knowledge
that they have proposed. Whoever they will propose would have allegiance to them in a way.
Okay.
I mean, even if the person is some military man somewhere in the PRC, once they are proposing and calling for him to be placed there, that placement is strategic. That is one. Then they tell you, for you to be able to firmly or do whatever we have put in the paper, execute it well with our support. Minister of Creative Arts and Culture, make this person a vice, or how do I call it, a deputy minister. Then they fill certain positions with strategic people who have their umbilical cords tied to the TPP. Now, these people will eventually understudy the ministers and at various positions. Now, if you have 250 ministers and TPP is about to field 20 of their members as deputy ministers for one election year, let's say 2020, TPP is able to send 20 of its members to parliament. Go to 2024. If the numbers increase to 80, a time is coming that TPP will have a fair representation in parliament. So should they decide to become a political party and are ready to present a presidential candidate, they already have the experienced guys in parliament. They already have high decision-making tool or power. That's the only way what is in their document could be achieved without a 50-50 either make or break. Yes. Because you can actually give the document to an NDC party or MPP, they will sign and still fail. So they will put all these people there to understudy, to also help in whatever is going to happen. But at the end of the day, the grand agenda, from my point of view, is to get them to become a strong third force, which will take a number of years, not now. So for now, they will remain a movement, a good one for that matter, because yes, if we are able to decide with 1 million numbers, even if they are unable to give you all the 1 million, they even give you 800,000. That's a lot. That is an election winning or election losing number. So if they have that on their side and say, listen to us and we give you this, if you don't listen, you go to a second round. And when you go to a second round, now these political parties will become desperate. One will definitely show up. So what the push will be is that let's go, Yama Abanim Pai, and Paya will pull out and they will come for us. When they come, we'll have a bigger and better bargaining chip. Because at this point in time, one has to win.
Exactly.
So whoever is ready will come. And they will come with all sorts of, you know, because at that point they need it. And that is where you can also cheat your people in. Okay, we want this person to be here, that person to be here, and then you sign. But the question is, will TPP become a fair representation of what the people really want? Is 1 million enough number to decide for 33 million people? Such that if TPP says we need 10 roads in Ghana, would the 10 roads be what every Ghanaian actually wants, or majority of Ghanaians actually want? That is also a question, you know, to answer. Would the TPP become the official mouthpiece of what the Ghanaian who is tired of these two parties really wants? Is it that if you are not for NDC and NPP, automatically you become for TPP? Such that whatever they say is the fair representation of Ghanaians? These are all valid questions we need to ask. But so far, I'm impressed with how far they've gone. It's already looking international, has a global appeal, because all these countries is meant Ireland, blah 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 blah. These are Ghanaians who are following our political discourse and who have a stake.
They are decision makers.
In fact, they are the deciding or decision makers proper, because they send down money from that place. If they tell you, look, I buy way buy a misikamba, it's muntu manual. Muntu, because ono this kabama nyabidi. Into so I say omaya manyamemwa edi into muntu mawea. Those down here would vote for what the people out there have decided. So if they have come on board, chances that things are going to go well for the TPP is high. But apart from A+, who else are deciding members that if today A+ is not there or something takes him somewhere, TPP will still stand? Would the absence of A+ mean the death of TPP?
Okay, great questions there by Arnold Meisel-Evanyo. And of course, you can also be part of the project by looking for their addresses on social media. It is called the TPP. That is the People's Project. Be part of this, because to them they think governance is about development, governance is about growth, and governance is about you and I. Whatever we come together to achieve, we can make it happen. Once again, thank you to Kwame A+ for making this happen. I hear their next stop will be somewhere in Italy, where they will be launching TPP. Here in Ghana, they have also launched in different communities and in areas. Let's read some of your tweets. And our first topic, that is talking about TPP launch in London, UK, and doing the review here. Simple says that I have cool. Have you seen the wrath you've brought onto us? Do you know the number of people you were able to convince to vote for Nanado? Now we are also complaining. To who? Apologize, okay, we voted for thieves. Now Tilly Akuyanipa says, I hope they uphold the truth. They don't start and end like some political parties. Because where Ghana has reached, only the truth can help us. Hard, undiluted truth, I mean. Simple comes again and says, if it is NDC, then it's President Mahama. And NDC, that's incompetent. If it is NPP, then both NPP and NDC are the same. Hypocrisy. Nanado has failed big time. Can't believe I voted for him. How will I become a member of TPP? Now, Kwabna Khalid says, this topic needs voice. And A+ agenda will be big. It will be small crowd TPP. Now, Tilly Akuyanipa says, it's about time. Seriously, we've had enough of these old corrupt men. A pressure group is definitely a necessity in Ghana now. Simple also comes and it says, good initiative by A Plus for that matter. TPP, but I can tell you on authority that majority of the members, if not all, will continue to vote for NPP or NDC. A Plus himself has his ambitions that he's nurturing, which is not bad though. Okay, let's read some more. Asari Abbas Lajon aka Gala says, good morning Uncle Sam. It's Tuesday and I'm really happy the show is really happening here on Xylophone FM. And Mr. Dos Rain says, welcome home Sammy. Thank you boss. Kwabna Kali comes again and he says, please tell A Plus that we don't want to follow this movement and later his own people will start seeing money signs and change their minds. And if it becomes a political party there, no for some of us. Okay, Asari Safo 1983 says, Sammy, this is achievable when the election goes to a second round. Then the political parties would need the TPP to support them to win. Kwabna Khalid comes and he says, if A Plus is really going for this movement, we are all rallying behind him hard. Next year, I'm not voting for. The positivity is low. Massa foreigners are paying our security institutions just using them, and the government has no idea. Aya Robert says, I am for TPP and I am for A Plus. Those against him are the reason for the nation's woes. It will take a lot of time, but it's achievable. For a movement like TPP, we need a gentle but radical person like one A Plus to lead it. Ghana shall prosper. And Rabiu Slat says, good morning, Brassam and your panel members. I have been saying this all the time that Ghana, we need a force and to change things. Ghana